Welcome, champions! My name is Margaret, and I'm coming to you live from Codename Entertainment Studio in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia. Before we begin, I'd also like to thank D&D for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch channel. It is and always will be an honor to be here. Shout out as well to Erica and Sasha, helping to co-produce and moderate the stream with me. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in the co-host Dylan and unmute him, because that's also very important. Welcome, Dylan. No, Dylan is not paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
I even got you unmuted in time too. Like.
Oh, did you?
On,
oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Come on.
I was waiting a second because usually it's like.
Oh.
But
right.
yeah, Dylan seems so young now. Yeah. I shaved a decade off my face because, unlike many things, it is something that I can control right now. But I'll have a beard next week. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Okay. We'll go back to usual Dylan, not doppelganger babyface Dylan.
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned before that I have like hypersensitive, mega soft baby skin, like a baby.
The most sensitive of skin.
Yeah. And like shaving it, it was just like too much. My whole face like did not appreciate it. But at the same time, it was getting super agitated. From having facial hair for so long and just getting shaggy and unkempt. So
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it always weirds me out when people who I generally only see with facial hair shave. I'm like, who are you?
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. It's like my buddy's kid said to him. She's like, "Daddy, you have a new head."
I haven't seen my husband clean shaven in 7 years. So
yeah. Catherine was weirded out by it too. She's like, I think the last time I saw this was like 9 years ago, 10 years ago.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it'll be in by the time I'm on stream again. Oh, it's the guy with the cap. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Dylan, and welcome everyone. It's nice to see some of our regulars.
They keep asking questions about the hat now, and it's because of the one time
it was a code. Yeah.
I don't think this one's a code.
No, it's not a code. There is one secret code today, and it is related to Jaheira, our latest champion of Baldur's Gate, but not a hero of Baldur's Gate. Well, a hero of Baldur's Gate, but not part of the heroes of Baldur's Gate.
Do we want to dive into that distinction now? Because we've definitely been receiving some feedback about it, actually, I have a tendency. I feel obligated to play devil's advocate. So, when we're discussing internally the distinction and all that stuff, I just kind of.
I think our. In the game for our tag for Hero of Baldur's Gate, we're specifically referencing the comics by Jim Zub and Max Dunbar.
Yeah. So the Heroes of Baldur's Gate, as in like official party, somewhat official party, like that's who we talk about with it. There are many people who have been heroes of Baldur's Gate, but they're not necessarily part of the Heroes of Baldur's Gate party.
Just
I haven't read the Heroes of Baldur's Gate DM's Guild module that the guy who directed Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 made. I have no doubt it's good and pays homage to Baldur's Gate games because they've got some pretty strong creative talents in common. But it's also like it's not a book that D&D released, so it's
it's technically not canon, so.
Yeah, I mean, only Mike Mearls can really officially answer what is or is not canon, as far as I know. But it's not an official 5e release that D&D put out, so it's a little different. But I mean, players are totally. I very much understand the confusion.
Okay, wow, so many ravens.
Yeah, but I mean, Deacon also isn't one of the heroes of Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
Like, no love for Deacon. I mean, I thought people liked Deacon the most. Deacon's great.
It's lovely. Yeah. Elf Chris is asking us, and his wife insisted that they would ask about Jaheira. Will she ever leave the group if we take her in the group? No.
No. Once you recruit a champion in Idle Champions, they are there.
They are there.
Yeah. So no need to fear Jaheira possibly disappearing because you've made a decision that she doesn't agree with.
Yeah.
I always found that both interesting and frustrating in BioWare games. And like, I was always a player who aspired to make sure that I finished the game with everybody. But it's not
can't leave anyone behind.
No, just a little borderline OCD completionist type thing.
Oh, okay.
Like when I played through Mass Effect 2, which was probably my favorite BioWare RPG altogether. To deviate ever so slightly from D&D. The last mission of the game, you can lose any or everybody, depending on how you play through it. And I just remember the first time I played through it, losing one person and getting so mad that, like, as soon as the credits rolled, I'm like, reset. Played the mission all the way through again, making different decisions because I wanted my save file to be one that had succeeded
everything,
perfectly. Yeah, so one of those.
I know. Ooh. This is an interesting question from Button Smash University. Do your familiars do damage as one source per click, or is it multiple kiv depending on how many you have?
Damage isn't increased by familiars. Like, familiars click at a certain rate, and I want to say it's 5 clicks a second per familiar. I think that's what it is.
That sounds right.
But there's no increase in damage except to say that they click at a certain rate and they click at the click damage at a certain rate. So. And
there you go. And then Imquist has a question about keeping their gold chests for later or just opening them right away. And if they're talking about gold event chests, some players like to save them until after they've opened all of their silver chests. This will make it far less likely that there will be holes in the gear in their collections. If this doesn't bother you, you're welcome to open your gold event chests right away. If you are a completionist, then silver, then gold is a better.
Yeah, I find that the players who are a little more into being completionists when it comes to loot are the ones that have collections tabs, which the console platforms don't.
Yes.
Because you only see whatever the highest level item is.
And then, I believe there's a question about item levels as well. The easiest way to see them is if you have a blacksmithing contract. I know a lot of people keep just one tiny blacksmithing contract as a way just to check all of their item levels. Yeah. So, for those inclined. So, yes, for blasphemer. So, yes, if you use one... see, go here, you can see all of your eye levels.
You just used one? Does that round it off to a 0?
No. Sorry. If you just you choose one,
you're not using one. Okay.
You're not using one. You could just hold it one in your inventory.
You're just using it to see.
Yeah, it works.
No, it does work. I was just curious if you were going to use like 3 and then 10 in order to get it to be 0, 0, 0 or something. Because like on my screen, I can't quite see the size.
Right. Yeah. Well, I haven't let my round number love go back to normal yet, since with the start of an event, I opened a bunch of chests and then used a bunch of blacksmithing contracts. to open it up. Yeah. But
Look at that.
And it's worth noting
Murder
that
of
it
crows.
will only show
I
people.
guess they're ravens.
It'll only show champions that have full gear slots. So. Yeah, Murder of Ravens. Are you a fan of Edgar Allan Poe?
Am I a fan of Poe?
Yeah.
Beyond the sense that I know who he is and watched the Simpsons episode where they did the Raven. I'm not very familiar.
Okay.
I know of Poe. Also, did he die mysteriously too, in like some really unusual way?
I'm not sure
Or has
how
it
he
just
died.
been like,
or is that
just
like
a myth around it? It was one of those things where like he disappeared for a time, and the last time he was spotted was like incoherent somewhere, and like then then he was found dead or something. I'm pretty sure that was Edgar Allan Poe. It was something really weird.
Mm-hmm. Clovel Pan is asking if I got Jaheira's feats from those chests, and yes, I did get Jaheira's feats. And then last time I opened a lot of chests without getting feats because I forgot that I had all available feats. I don't track that as precisely as I could. So.
Yeah. October 3rd, 1849. Found delirious in the streets of Baltimore.
Oh.
Yeah. Taken to Washington Medical College, where he died on the Sunday, on the 7th. And he was never coherent enough to explain what exactly had happened to him, but he was not wearing his own clothes. So, yeah.
That sounds like a interesting set of circumstances.
It's perfect. I would expect nothing less.
But if you wanted a work of Edgar Allan Poe that was fitting for the times, I would highly recommend The Mask of the Red Death.
That sounds ominous.
The undertone is plague, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember for one of our streams, we had one of Edgar Allan Poe's pieces as instead of our thank you thing, we had the poem. And then the name of the poem was the code. But even though I did it, I forget at this point what I did. Yeah.
Lots of things happen.
Well, you do 100 and something episodes of something, and it becomes a bit of a blur. Yeah, this is kind of how it goes. Also, like, I never get a full night's sleep again, right?
No, not for a while.
We're approaching teething. Some of the first signs are starting to show up.
Well, that's exciting because teeth.
Well, we'll see if Catherine feels it's exciting when they start to come
right.
or not. But yeah. Last night was a good night. I got some sleep. I'm happy about that. But
That's
getting
good.
sleep is not something that happens very often right now. So it really does impact you.
Yeah, you don't realize how much it impacts you until you haven't had a good night's sleep in a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had problems with sleep ever since my back injury in 2009. So I'm used to being at a deficit, but I underestimated how much worse it could get. So, yeah.
There you go. I'm a very deep sleeper, and I consider myself very fortunate.
Like sleep through earthquakes, deep sleeper?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, a few earthquakes actually. So it's handy.
Well, I imagine if there's a big one, it would actually wake you up. Like 3 to 4 minutes of violent shaking around your bed and room is a little different than what we experience here on a somewhat regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like, well, maybe.
Maybe. Like, there's been a couple times where that's been like, you didn't wake up. In college, I had an alarm clock that would go off, and then it was on wheels, so it would go and hide somewhere.
What?
Because
I would clock that runs away from you.
That runs away from you, so you have to get up, get out of bed, and hunt down your alarm clock.
That sounds awful.
Made sure I made it to my classes on time.
Wow.
I'm much more of a morning person now, but I wasn't in college, so yeah.
I've always been somebody who, like, either the sun comes up or we hit a certain time, it's like on, just which is weird because I'm definitely normally a night owl, so
Yeah.
it's a tough thing to balance.
I became a morning person after college, in the past 5 years or so. So that's been a change.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but no, that was the thing. Was it actually a Modron? It kind of looked like one. It was called Clocky. There was not what I named it, but I love the name. Yeah, but if it's just an alarm on a regular thing or a phone, I would turn it off in my sleep and be like, why didn't my alarm go off? So
I get that. Lots of people are able to easily autopilot whatever is off.
yeah,
And they'd be like, "Oh, how come my alarm didn't go off?" And it's like, I saw you like slide your hand over, pick up the touchpad, navigate the screen to disable it, and then go back to sleep without opening your eyes. Like, yeah.
we have some
Really greater and
questions.
greater swarms.
Captain Levy 611 is asking if Zorbu gets credit for killing these ravens. Yes.
Yup.
So
Sure
we're doing
does.
that right now.
Yeah. So if there was ever a better time to farm your Zorbu kills up,
Now is the
we haven't
time.
created a better one than this for you. Let me tell you.
Now is the time.
Especially since they're easy to kill and they'll just swarm up on your tank and then pop. Most of them are gone. Yeah.
And
So, if you're hoping to get your Zorbu farm on, get your Zorbu farm on.
yeah. So Sarah Bick is asking how this is like. Yes, this is a great Zorbu farm, but it's a variant on an event, so it will not be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's something that's always available or easy to get to, and you can only complete this variant once.
So
not that there aren't some other variants that create lots of monsters, but
this is your chance. TRV John Tax is asking that opening silvers before golds is the best strategy to increase the chance for double epics. Is this true?
no, it has no impact on it.
Yeah,
the only
I didn't
thing
think
that
so.
impacts the epic timer is opening gold chests of a specific type, and because all the timers are individual to those types of gold chests. But silver chests have no impact on it, and you can't get epic loot from silver chests.
And we're getting some questions about then whether to unlock Zorbu during their next time, Kate, since it will happen just in this event. Yes, if you don't have Zorbu and you're planning on unlocking him, now wouldn't be the worst time to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this event is live until the 25th, I think. Yeah, the 25th. So you got a bit of time. So you could spend some time gate pieces and unlock Zorbu before this event is over, and then set up your farm on this particular variant. You know, just tell it to not to progress through areas and just leave it so you don't accidentally complete it early or something. And yeah. I mean, as you can see, he's just like, he fires a shot in the line and kills tons of ravens.
Yeah. Figured I'll just let this run for a while. I just let it run.
And
over the
like
weekend.
currently, Zorbu, super good.
Just super in the meta.
Those infinitely scaling DPSs that are a little bit categorically better than the other ones right now. Everybody's just bird farming now? Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And then I suppose if you do a Jaheira time gate later, it's going to be luck whether or not you get this variant.
Yeah. Although I suppose if you completed the other variants, this one might be the only one that's left, right? I'm not quite clear on how that system works.
No. And was this created on purpose or happy accident, or was it?
We didn't intentionally create this for a Zorbu farm.
No.
But you know, it's cool that, you know, a variant like this can prove to be so interesting and useful for players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Wicked Clown is asking if I do a time gate for a hero that I already own, do I get the chests again? And
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So you won't unlock that champion, but you will be able to earn the gold chests and silver chests for them.
And we have another question from Dark Feds. When does the Great Modron March start on Switch? And sadly, we were unable to get the Great Modron March into our Switch build, so it will not be available on Switch this year. However, we will be providing all Switch players with the 3 champions, so that's Evelyn, Quillick, and Jaheira, as well as 3 gold and 3 silver chests for each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, so that's just this happened with the Great Modron March the first time we ran it too.
Right.
Because I think that was when we released this on console or iOS or
it was iOS
one of the platforms,
2
and we were
years
just unable
ago.
to get the event into the build in time.
iOS 2 years ago.
Yeah, iOS 2 years ago. Yeah.
It is lore.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
And we were pushing hard to try and get it in time, and it just didn't end up happening. So.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when I think about it, I'm like, our Switch players have been around for a week and a day. So there's a good chance that the 3 champions will end up being among their most geared champions right from the get-go, because they'll get them and chests for them right away. Yeah.
Oh, and we're having some questions about unlocking Zorbu. Zorbu is I'm trying to remember his event. I remember it happened earlier this year.
Fleet's Wake, I think.
Fleet's Wake? Yeah, that sounds right. Is our Fleet's Week Year 1 champion?
Birdsong, I think.
No, Fleet's Wake sounds right for Zorbu. Birdsong is Grand
Who's the
Rebel.
First one? God, it's been a while. No, Zorbu is the Year 1 champion for it.
Yeah.
Birdsong is from the event before that. That's
yeah.
Black Viper Year 2.
Right. So now the only way to unlock Zorbu is through a time gate.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can be lucky in a natural time gate, or unlock one and specifically unlock Zorbu when using time gate pieces. And one of Zorbu's favorite enemies are ravens, so this works well for him.
Yeah, he's good at killing beasts.
Yeah.
So this is a good way to get large numbers of beasts. Because I know for like humanoid and drow or undead or whatever, there's been other adventures that people really like for building up those numbers.
And we have a question from Torontonian saying that they realized that the last big patch didn't go quite as planned, and they thank us for adjusting things as quickly as you have. Do we have any sort of priorities list that we're working from and that we can share?
So I mean, we definitely have a priorities list, but I really don't think I'm in any way allowed to share what's on it, because it's a mix of bugs and fixes that need to be done right away, as well as things for other things that I can't talk about yet. So suffice it to say that we are very much aware that the patch created a lot of unanticipated issues,
and thank you for your patience with us while we sort that out.
Yeah, it's literally been the only thing that our dev team has been working on, has been trying to fix all that stuff, while also trying to get the event out on Switch. So unfortunately,
working
didn't
from
get
home,
the event out on Switch, but just working on bugs. Still working on bugs.
Yep. It's been a couple weeks. So
yeah.
Mad props to our dev team for all the work that they do.
Yeah, I know they've put in a lot of
lot of
extra
extra
hours
hours.
working on it. Like you'll come in and somebody will have stayed up late into the evening. And so first thing in the morning, they're like, these are the fixes that are in the next build that you push. And, you know, they're all coordinating with each other. I mean, there are certainly some inherent challenges in everybody being remote now. We
Yeah.
can't shout across the room at each other for stuff, for like quick answers anymore. Like you have to get in touch through our like our in-house communications platforms or whatever instead, and it slows it down a bit. But yeah, it's they're working on it.
Yeah. Is it better to leave this variant not completed to leave it for future Zorbu farming? Asks Lemon Wars.
I mean, that's up to you. It really depends
Yeah.
on how much time you want to dedicate to farming up beast kills on your Zorbu.
Yeah.
I don't use a lot of Zorbu DPS myself, because I like using my Artemis formations. But yeah, certainly you can get a lot of Zorbu kills on this adventure. I mean, and fast too.
Yeah. Just wave after wave of ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they only increase in magnitude, so it's just it goes pretty quickly.
And yeah, you could do it again with time gates if you get lucky. But there's a lot of, I don't want to say yes you can without that caveat there, because there's some RNG involved. Ooh, I've been asked for hints for the hidden code. It's to do with Jaheira.
Yeah, I haven't even actually looked at it. What is it? Okay. We'll see if they get it.
They're always valid for a week, so 16 characters, I believe, to answer your question, Trontonian. So
people are asking about whether or not Zorbu was the ideal main DPS. I mean, he's
very popular in the meta
top right now. Yeah, there are a lot of DPS that you're able to complete all of the adventures and variants with.
Yes.
But when it comes to pushing to the furthest possible distance in areas, Zorbu is the best for that currently.
And I am Pine Freen is asking, will champion and event variants completed this year be redoable on next year's event, or will they show it as complete? And they will show as complete. You'll be able to do free plays for them, though, however.
Yeah, you only get to do event variants once.
Oh.
As part of the event.
Just once. And Waterbong Chong, sorry, that just reminds me of Cheech and Chong. But how come the champ stopped getting perk upgrades? Is this planned, or do I need to unlock something to gain more levels? So I think you hit your soft cap, and that's just where they max out.
Yeah, there is an end to how many upgrades you can purchase for any character, and then we do, at least once a year, sometimes several times a year.
We increase those.
Increase the soft cap by adding more upgrades to all of the champions. And every time we do that, it takes longer to do because there's more and more champions added to the game.
Yes.
So
there are a lot of.
Yeah.
I think we're in the low 60s now. I think.
There's a few. Yeah. I mean, we're in year 3. There's only a few more events left.
Yeah. We'll have the
12 core champions. 3 evergreens.
How do you count Hitch? I'm curious.
I just count him as one of the evergreens.
Okay.
He's not a core champion because he's not automatically unlocked as soon as you install the game. you do have to put in a step to get him. But his loot shows up in gold chests, so that's why I call him an evergreen.
Yeah. That makes sense. Oh, this guy is asking, are we playing a very subtle orchestral piece with a piano melody in the background? Yes, we are. They were listening to the soundtrack of Westworld Season 3, but it finished. Maybe I'm hearing its echo in my head. No, we're playing some music from one of our other games that's sadly no longer in existence. It's called Shards of Titan. And it's the Dark Forest piece, which seemed very apropos for Jaheira.
Yeah. I am listening to something else.
Oh, what are you listening to? Is it Metallica?
A playlist of really chill stuff today. Right now I'm listening to an artist called This Will Destroy You. And the song is called The World Is Our Blank.
Oh, okay. The more you know.
Yeah, it's a great track.
Oh, yeah, we are not completing that.
Continue.
It was had one of those moments of like, wait, no, I want to hit the red button. The red button. Oh, and they found the hidden code. Nice, Garwar.
Angling Scimitar.
Because druids use scimitars.
Yeah, and this druid likes to root. Likes to tangle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I am Pinefreen is asking what will happen to your run event champions once year 4 starts. Will year 1 champions still show up in events? And unfortunately, no, they will no longer show up in events. This is just to keep it so there's only 3 champions available at one time, but they will still be available through time gates if there's one that you feel you're missing. Just otherwise, going to an event with 4 champions to unlock and gear up seems overwhelming. Like, even 3 champions at times is many. Yeah. And Sean's gone into your music, Dylan, and agrees. It's super chill. Yeah.
It's a good album, man. I like that one.
Yeah.
It's from Young Mountain. Another good song by theirs, Sean, is The Mighty Rio Grande.
And there's some confusion. So in the time gate, you can hit any event variant from all 3. I thought it was always the same variant. I believe it's just one random.
As I understand it, it's random.
Yeah, likewise. So, yeah, in any time gate that you open, you will have one random variant from their event.
Redeemed highlight my message 100. Mage Bear 7. Why isn't Jaheira part of the Heroes of Baldur's Gate?
So the Heroes of Baldur's Gate, insofar as they are in idle champions, are used to refer to the comics by Jim Zub and Max Dunbar, which Jaheira isn't in, although she's in, of course, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. So.
Yeah, it's funny. So, like, she is undoubtedly a hero of Baldur's Gate, but she's not part of the party. The
Heroes of Baldur's Gate.
Like, it's very specifically this party of 5 characters.
Yeah.
Still, the confusion is understandable given how similar the phrasing is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
doesn't help that there's a DM's Guild module by the guy who was the game director for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 called The Heroes of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
so yeah, the confusion's understandable. The other thing is that everything that happened in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 is a century ago, right? Like,
yeah.
The only reason Minsk is in modern Faerun is because he was at some point turned into a statue where he stayed for 100 years. Yeah. Will there be a Harper's
Harper's
affiliation? That's a good question.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Harper's affiliation could be fun. Some lore in there.
Yeah, we haven't, because so we haven't done faction affiliations like that. Like, I guess technically we have, because Force Grey, like the Greyhands are a faction.
They are.
The Harpers are a faction. The Zentarum are a faction, etc. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So he could potentially appear in Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I don't really know what Larian's going to do with Baldur's Gate 3. Although I guess if we were lucky enough to be looped in, we wouldn't be able to talk about it anyway.
Anyway, so, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know if they'll put Minsc in that game or not. But yeah, the comic Minsc is the actual Minsc. Yeah. And so like Krydle is the son of one of the characters that's in the Baldur's Gate games. And it's like, it's mentioned casually in his lore, but not very bluntly. Like, it's kind of have to understand what he's referencing in a couple things. But yeah. There's a century splitting Jaheira and these heroes of Baldur's Gate apart.
Yeah, but with D&D, there can be some hand wavy around.
Oh, for sure.
A century,
like,
very easily.
We're using the original companions to haul in the game, right? And many of them died and were reborn as completely different characters, but the same. So, you know, we live in... Idle Champions is something of a nebulous time. Like, it's not a distinct, specific year in the Faerunian calendar. So...
Yeah, but it's unlikely that her husband will ever appear in Idle Champions because we're taking her.
Yeah, isn't he dead?
Yeah, he died in Baldur's Gate too. So
yeah, we reference his passing in this Jaheira's bio, so we probably kind of wrote ourselves out of the option of using him.
And so, and with that, it's unlikely that that Jaheira will have the affiliation in the future unless Jim Zub decides to do some hand wavy magic. So
yeah, who knows? I mean,
yeah,
he might be listening to this for fun,
and then just decide
we're all locked down. And it's like, oh really? And then he'll just throw something into one of his comics and then completely undo everything we just said, which would be cool. I'm down. Yeah. Somebody asking about their Reddit profile being shadow banned.
Yes.
I don't know how to do that. So that seems unlikely.
Yeah.
But we could try to look into it. Yeah. I mean, it's not really relevant to this show, but yeah. Ula Slinky.
Yes, but we do manage the subreddit, and I'm just getting from someone else in the office that they're not on our banned users list. So.
Oh, I was just about to check it, but Erica beat me to it. Yeah. So then, really have no idea why they wouldn't be able to post or anything. So, just Reddit being Reddit. I mean,
Reddit being Reddit.
Posted so many Q&As where like half the questions just don't even show up.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know.
Darth Junius is asking what champ is a helper to Zorbo for arming this event. Deacon and Minsc only. We're doing all the content then today, and then just Zorbo farming.
Well, you have Jaheira either way. You don't have a choice in that.
And
you want somebody who's going to get hit. I like Tyrell because Tyrell can basically tank any amount of enemies, but Briv is fantastic too.
Yeah.
Deacon is great for just speeding things up. And obviously Zorbo.
And then Minsc for maybe some extra.
Yeah, Minsc. Favorite enemy beast is nice.
Yeah.
Really, all you need is a tank who can take the hits.
Yeah.
And Zorbu, ideally, being the only one who can kill enemies. So it helps to have a big enough party that you get a little further along so that Zorbu is the only one who's killing anything. But then, and then he just fires his crossbow bolt through everything.
Everything. Like that. And then they all go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets more impressive each time because they just kind of keep
Keep
swarming.
Keep swarming.
Yeah, they're like the crows in Fernwood.
No, I'm getting full on Raven. Quaff the Raven. Nevermore. Nevermore.
We get some belligerent crows in Victoria sometimes.
Yeah, you don't ever be mean to them.
Oh God, no, they'll remember.
And they will teach their young.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're terrifying like that. Like, they are smart.
There's even the one in Vancouver that stole the knife from the murder scene and was like flying around with the knife. Now, you guys, some of you think I'm joking. I am not joking. Look it up. Yeah, that is a known crow who is a known troublemaker who messes with crime scenes in Vancouver.
Just for funsies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Interesting question. From Garawar.
Will we ever see multiple champions with multiple affiliations, or do we want to stick to one?
That is a great question that
Justin can answer.
Don't have a definitive answer to.
Yeah.
We have discussed the possibility of champions having multiple affiliations, because there are champions in our game that have multiple affiliations. It's not something that we've done anything with yet, but it's a possibility.
Cassius is asking, what would the faction name be of Brunar, Celeste, Nayeli, and Dryloxel as a quartet? I always wonder about that. The first four?
The first four champions?
Just the first four.
Yeah. The Idol champions.
Yeah. Oh, no. I do like the sort of Brunar being nicknamed Tutorial Dwarf.
Tutorial Dwarf?
Yeah.
I'm sure our Salvatore loves that.
Yeah. Well, he's the first character in Crystal Shard.
He's the first protagonist.
First protagonist, right.
I'm pretty sure that... I swear that book opens with like two bad guys talking to each other first, and then it starts. Yeah, I think that's what happens. Somebody will remember that.
Huh. Oh, and there's asking of when the CNE originals are getting their own affiliation. The home team. I want it to be called the home team.
The home team?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Come on, the home team.
You know, we haven't made a party out of them. You know?
Yeah.
I'd love for us to have a Legion of Evil with Krond and Warden and Cazaspia and, I don't know, make some other edgelordy evil supervillain types. And...
I don't know. I'm just imagining like the home team, but with like campy baseball skins.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that.
Be fun.
The League of Evil Heroic Champions.
Yeah.
Archon's army. Well, Archon's group is called the Dark Order, right? That's Archon the Cruel and Krull and Torgar Steelfist.
So, some of our watchers who have just tuned in are exclaiming over your lack of beard again.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't have a beard for the last like 3 or 4 weeks because I've been rocking the perv stash since quarantine started. But I just kind of looked in the mirror at one point. And I was like, no, I'm getting rid of that too, and I shaved it all.
It's all gone now.
Yeah, and then my face hurt.
Yeah.
It'll be back soon enough.
Come back.
Yeah.
No. And DBar74 just started playing on Switch and then installed it on PC today to play too. There was an update this morning for the Switch version, but no event. Is there some place to see the patch details on what was done? There should be.
I'm not sure where the changelog is
on
Switch. The Switch version.
It should be a changelog.
Those notes better be in there.
And unfortunately, the Great Modron March 3 will not be coming out on Switch this year, just due to some COVID-19 related delays, and we're sorry about that. But when we're next able, we will be providing our Switch users with Switch players, not users, with all 3 champions and 3 gold chests and 3 silver chests for each champion. So we're sorry about that, and thanks for your patience with us. And Thunder Remix is asking, was there a 2020 hidden combination hint given this week? No, there wasn't, because I gave a neon flag to last week's stream code because it hadn't been found. Yeah. I don't want them to not find things, and that one was the more time-pressing one. So, and they still haven't found the last one that I gave them a hint for. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, but there was the time pressing matter of last week's stream code, because that was not found until Tuesday. And DBar74 has gotten back to us, found the change log on Switch, but it doesn't load. Okay. We will pass that on.
Yeah, we'll make a note about that one.
Pass it on to the devs. So, sorry about that.
Let's see, what are they missing? They think they're missing a hint for Binwin chests. They think that they're missing hints for Bologna and Warden chests.
Yes.
They think that they're missing hints for Rosie, Korth, Point chests. You know, at this point, I made those so long ago, I'm trying to remember what they are. Do we want to hint any of these more?
I mean, I feel like we're fine for now with the neon flags. And then there's still their one outstanding, but I defer to your better judgment.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are hard, some of them actually aren't, but I guess you guys just haven't been on the right track for them yet.
And Biv RIP is asking, which tank would you choose between Gromma and Briv? And I would choose Briv. What would you choose?
Yeah.
What would you choose?
Briv.
Okay.
Definitely Briv.
Yep.
Not that Gromma's a bad tank, mind you, but I like swapping Gromma in and out, so I don't pick her
As a tank?
her whatever left circle of mountain. I think is the name of the specialization. I picked the one in the middle so that she can debuff attack speed and stuff as well.
Arctic specialization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually.
And Kuva Plan is asking if we see attempted guesses. No, we don't. I really wish we did.
No, that would be really interesting information for us to have insight into, but we just don't know.
That would be great for, Fridays at 3:30.
Did you end up adding your evil combinations that you were talking about?
I will neither confirm nor deny that information.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah. The possible existence of Margaret's hidden evil list.
Are they all based on like your philosophy PhD thesis or something? They're like super difficult. You need definitive answers to these questions people have been asking for thousands of years.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And MA thesis, not PhD. I noped out of that cult before.
Oh yeah.
For too long.
Yeah. One of my closest family friends eventually finished a PhD in philosophy, and he took his time doing it. Not that it's not something that takes a while, but I think he finished when he was in his 50s. And he's like, I can't get a job anywhere related to this.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing for me. Is it came down to the fact that if I continued into doing a PhD, and I wanted to work using it, it would have to be in academia, which obviously, but then you lose a lot of agency on where you can live, because it comes down to where you are lucky enough to get a job.
Yeah.
And that can be anywhere that maybe you wouldn't choose otherwise.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, and my master's was like a complete master's program, and it was like, okay, I can continue it, or I can join the non-academic workforce, and at which point a PhD in philosophy is not going to help me any more than an MA in philosophy would. So
Fair enough.
I jumped ship, which was I'm pretty happy with. Part of a significant portion of my family is like, why? Yeah.
Well, I mean, is your
Yeah.
family full of academics?
Yeah, first person in a couple generations to not get their PhD, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I understand. Yeah. I have a strange mix of people in my family, and I have a couple academic relatives who are. One of them was teaching in Oxford for a few years until his family basically they're like, we hate it here. We're moving back to Canada. He's like, oh, so he ended up giving it up and moving back.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he was always in school.
Yeah.
Like even when he was working, like, yeah, I swear to God, he was in school for an extra 20 years, just getting more degrees, working, teaching and like also working in a museum or whatever. And it's just like, geez, man, like I know you're smart and educated, but.
And it's something like you can be, there are a lot of lectures and whatnot that if you live in a university town, or a lot of them are online, and the contacts that you make in grad school, you can be still involved in the learning aspect of the academic community without having to work in it, because it really becomes a publishing workhorse as well. Getting published.
Well, I mean, you're young. Like, if you decide 20, 30 years from now that you're like, I'm going to finish my PhD.
Yeah.
You can.
I could.
Like the works that you had studied so far will just be a tiny percentage point older than they already are.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But no.
So.
But no, my rebellious phase in some members of my family's eyes is the fact that when I started school, I went into engineering, not into humanities.
Oh.
And I did 2 years of that, and I'm like, I don't want to work in this. I hate this.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, sometimes you got to try a bunch of stuff and realize that that's what you don't like, right? And sometimes it's like what you're good at versus what you do or do not like doesn't mash up so well either. So,
yeah.
It's tricky. Yeah.
It's
I don't know. The journey of life is never ending. So, unless it ends for you, but well,
that's dark.
no sense worrying about that.
Okay.
What is this, a pandemic? Why would you worry about mortality?
And on that lovely note, Darth Junius is asking, should I gear up Quillic or Jaheira this event?
Ooh. They're both good in different ways. I think if you were a new player, it's probably Jaheira. The newer you are, Jaheira. Because the newer of a player you are, the more easily she's going to fit in, and gearing her up is going to prove to be really valuable for you.
Yes. She seems pretty great so far, but I've only had her for a little time. Yeah. Oh, RS Sub-02 is asking what type of engineering did I pick to start with. I did materials and metallurgical engineering. So 1 year of generic and then 1 year of materials. Yeah, anyway, sorry, that's a odd question, but yeah.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, yeah. And it sounds like, do you know which achievements we added recently? Because we've got some questions from Nocturne 614.
Oh God, what are the names of the new achievements?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Not sure.
Because The new
Yeah.
achievements are the ones for the event. They're like class dismissed, backstory complete, protector of Waterdeep, and recruit Jaheira. Those are the event ones, and then
Yeah.
there's the long time coming one for lingering anger stacks. So those are the new achievements this year, and you can find those in the event information screen. At least you should be able to. Yeah, if you're talking about other achievements, off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, Dancing Penguins is asking us this. They asked Mars yesterday. Not including bards, which champions would you most like to hear do karaoke?
I mean, some of those. So quite a few of the people who play champions in our game, I've actually heard do karaoke before. So, yeah. Spoilers. People like Satine can sing quite well. Not that that's a surprise in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of.
I would love to see Chris Perkins do karaoke as Spurt.
As Spurt.
Just putting that out there.
That would be cool. Yeah, in that voice. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. That's better than the direction I was going to go. So let's just that is the answer.
Zero, are the items from the from the code gold chests random? Are they set in stone? They are random. So.
Yeah. God, the breakdown of what goes in those would be better done by Justin. Because every chest will include one potion and one type of contract, and then there's some variabilities with each of it. It's I don't have an item by item breakdown with percentages or anything like that, but it's random. And it's random at the time that you open it. So if you get a bunch of chests and you hold on to them, it's random when you open those chests. So as an example, if you have a whole bunch of gold chests and you haven't unlocked, I don't know, Hitch yet, and you use them on your party, you won't be able to get any Hitch items. Same thing with weekend chests, where maybe you have 4 of the 5 characters who get a weekend buff. Well, opening those chests, you can only get items for 4 of those 5 characters. And that's different from event champions, where you can get event champion gold and silver chests and open them for loot for those champions without actually having those champions yet. So there's a bit of a distinction there.
Yeah. Oh, and I see someone's been asking if Narak will be getting a rework.
Yeah, he already got a bit of one, hey?
Yeah, but...
I know I would like to see a little bit more put into his Githry focus to make it a more viable support spec. This is me personally, but at the same time, it's an ability that could very, 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 very quickly get extremely out of hand and become broken, overpowered. And it's borderline overpowered even at its most basic level. It's a tricky one, but that's personally what I would like to see, because he's supposed to be a Githzerai, and they're always aspiring to be anarchs, to be these sort of spiritualistic psychic leaders of their people, and so I'd like to see a specialization where he goes down that path. But I don't know what Justin's going to plan to do when if he looks at Narak again, because even right now, you'll eventually reach a point where Narak doesn't have use for you, because your other champions will have gear and equipment that just improves their buffs better, and then having somebody who does a fixed increase to adjacent champions. But he is the only champion in the game right now where his support capability is maximized as soon as you pick him up. You get him, you don't even have to get gear for him. You just get him, and he can do what he does amazingly, or as amazingly as he can, in a way that is quite strong, until you eventually have enough equipment and item levels to surpass him. So I don't know, he's in kind of an odd, unique spot. I can say that in terms of champions being looked at for reworks right now, I mean, the next the next champion balance update we're going to look to do will be based on mostly the champions that came out in year 2. So,
yeah, year 2, part 1.
Yeah, doesn't mean it's going to be limited to that, but that's the focus.
And Jaheira is asking what they're expecting a vague answer from us, and they're asking Modron honoration soon or not.
I mean, when it's ready, or at least when it's close to ready.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, we would like to do some beta testing with some players for that feature when it gets closer to being implemented, just to work on the inevitable onslaught of bugs, because it's quite the feature, and we're not even at that point yet, so it's a ways off. So, I mean, I'm not even going to just say soon or anything. I wouldn't expect it this month.
No, not this month. So Chrislo at Twitch is saying that they haven't checked out what Jaheira's abilities are, but is a longtime fan of Jarlaxle from carrying over from when they started. What makes Jaheira compete in that spot?
So Jarlaxle isn't a support buffer. The only dedicated support buffer in that slot is Paulton. And Jaheira can function as a DPS and a support. So she fits her own kind of niche in that spot. Paulton's not a viable DPS. Sentry is a sort of tank support. Stokey is her own kind of unique support with a debuff.
Stokey's great. But I wouldn't say that she's not a support buffer.
Well, she's basically only a support buffer. But she's not a DPS support, really. I don't know. They're kind of different. Like, Stokey is probably the closest comparison to Jaheira.
And Stokey's great.
Yeah. And then also, I mean, you just more variability in each slot is a long-term useful thing to have when you're trying to complete different challenging variants and stuff. Yeah.
So that's that. And Garwar has a question. Are we looking to leave Stokey double dipping debuffs via key explosion? Or should we expect to see that changed at some point to be in line with the ultimates?
That is something that we have been moving away from in a lot of ways. So I don't think that Stokey's doing anything that we worry about right now. This isn't like Crawl triple dipping or any of the other dedicated debuff champions and their double dipping, which was quite extraordinarily good. Stokey's not quite that bad of an offender, I guess.
Stokey's not breaking things at the moment, so
nobody's like, oh my god, I put Stokey in and I made it 100 areas further. It's not so we're not worried about it in the same way that we have been about some of the other outliers. So it's something that we're aware of, but isn't problematic in our eyes right now.
And I just thought that someone's going to take that as a challenge, and Garward immediately answered.
I mean, hey, go for it. Yeah.
So please show us how we're wrong.
Yeah. Now, if tomorrow we log on and we're like, 46% of players are using Stokey, I'd be like, wait a minute.
There'd be a lot of, reverse psychology there, but Terran 3 is asking, any discussion of different views? For instance, champions travel to the right, to the left, or perhaps away as you are behind them instead of beside them. Highly unlikely, so we would have to change all of the art. And please don't make the art director grab his pitchfork.
Yeah. It's enough. He spends enough time chasing his twins around. I don't want him trying to chase us down too. It's so the champions moving slowly to the right is probably never going to change. I mean, I guess there's one thing that we were talking about that would possibly change that, but I don't even know how that's going to be implemented. So I guess I'll just wait. But we're certainly not planning on having them move to the left or
to the left,
moving away. moving away forward out of the screen. It's just
Oh.
not the way that our art has been built, so it just wouldn't really work.
And do you want to take that one?
No.
Okay. Can Gon's favor only be converted to Torms? Do I need to begin farming that other favor before I can convert Gon's to it?
Yes. Yeah. You need other kinds of favor before you can convert into other kinds of favor other than the basic Torm's favor. Also, converting event favor, it's an exponential change. So once you each reach E10 or higher favor, you start getting 100% more of whatever. And so whatever, like events mark the biggest changes you can make to your divine favor.
Yes.
So you want to use that accordingly.
Oh.
What do we do with combination codes?
Oh.
You could demo that.
Yeah. Well, I can't because I already tested the codes, but...
Did you?
Yeah, because I make them and then test them.
But have you inputted all the Discord codes currently?
No. Can you toss me one? Because I'm not on Discord
Sure.
on this computer.
I will send you a combination for... that's from our show. How about... Snug Daft
make another
Dips?
one real quick to use as an example.
Nice try.
Nice try.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
SNUG
okay.
DAFFDIPS. I'll paste that in the stream chat. Boom.
There we go.
Snug Daft Dips. It's just the funniest reading one. It's from Beyond Heroes this week.
From Beyond Heroes this week?
Yeah.
So you unlock your chest.
Yeah.
And there it goes. And then we have one gold chest to unlock later.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, just chests and then unlock chest. There you go.
Beyond Heroes always aims to be entertaining. You guys are crazy.
You guys are great.
Yeah.
Thoroughly entertaining.
Although I am impressed with what your DM will let you get away with.
Yeah. Briv is kind of crazy. In terms of the steel bones. He's like literally like he made Wolverine. Which is awesome. Yeah.
No, I gotta change my song.
You have to change your song?
Yeah, this playlist has some stuff that's like just some like really, really, really good piano music but is also like deeply emotional stuff that I also don't want to listen to right now.
Yeah. Choose the appropriate time to feel your feels, Dylan.
Yeah. I don't want to tear up on stream. That would be awkward. What do I got? There we go. Yeah, that's better.
And Obo Lauren says Todd lets us get away with a lot because he kills us all the time. Fair.
There's that too.
Yeah.
I killed my mother-in-law's character last week. That was
yeah. You were talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
She handled it well. She's enjoying her new character a lot more. Because the new character is nothing like she is. So she's like delighting in getting to play a character so different than herself.
Yeah.
So she's enjoying it in a different way, which is good because we were also, up until this point, we were playing a little bit inconsistently.
Right.
But thanks to the pandemic, we're playing every week via Zoom. So everybody's getting more into their characters, which is good. So she's liking her new character a lot more. Her new character is a fallen Azamar shadow sorcerer.
Oh, wow.
Yep, that's
a lot.
She's like one of like the kindest, most like beaming light, joyous, calm people I know. So she's like diving deep to her inner angst to try and play this character, and it's a lot of fun to see.
Bossman Eric has this theory that you only either play characters that are idealized versions of yourself or the complete opposite of yourself that you kind of wanted to do but have never done.
I think I think for a lot of people who play D&D and who really get into it, like depending on how much you play, a lot of players start in the same place, like starting with an idealized version of yourself as your first character, or as one that like you understand them better because they are more similar to you is a really common thing. And I think that the more D&D you play, the more you appreciate trying to play different types of characters. And then eventually you're like, I'm going to play a dishwasher that, is connected to this rent. Like you're willing to roll the dice and you like challenge yourself to just play whatever.
That's fair. Yeah.
But it's like, you don't start at that point. Usually you kind of want to work your way up to that point. Like Lauren plays characters with wings. It seems like
well,
Lauren, do you play any non-winged characters?
I remember Lauren once saying that
like Aarakocra or dragons, right? Like
yeah, she.
And that's not a bad thing. They're awesome.
Didn't like playing humans because they were like no. Fun.
I play a human in real life. Why would I want to play one in a game?
Because they're so versatile.
Yeah, because some variant humans are bullshit, right? You know that. Starting with the feet. Yeah, so good.
Yeah. So we have, if you're asking us how to get Jaheira, you don't see her in game, you can unlock her in the Great Modron March. Oh.
Yep.
You go to.
You're a Warforged. Oh, right, I forget. You're on both shows. I didn't even realize. I didn't even think about it.
You go here, Great Modron March, and it'll open your...
Hey, 3 cheers for Warforged. I like Warforged characters.
Mechanical Menace will unlock Jaheira.
I saw on Twitter earlier today, somebody had linked their Warforged character, and Lauren might actually remember who this was, but their Warforged was a druid, and like all the wooden parts of them had like kind of grown out to become more tree-like, but the rest of the parts still looked like a Warforged. It was really cool. And it kind of reminded me of a concept character I had made that I never got around to using. That was like a Warforged that got left behind in a swamp for so long that they became overgrown with fungus and rot and wood, and like, they were a Circle the Spores druid because they're just like, there's all this stuff living in them, kind of like Groot. I mean, in a way, sure, yeah. It's like there's similarities to Groot aesthetically.
Yeah. But no, and then Lauren's on Beyond Heroes and on Silver and Steel right now, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Zaira is asking how many. Question for Dylan and Margaret: how many character concepts do you have for D&D?
Oh God. There's a joke about, I could get this thing done, or I could make 10 more characters I'll never play. And like, that certainly seems to be how it goes. I tend to have a lot of them lying around. And when I don't play them, or I don't think that I'll get around to playing them, I make them NPCs in people's games.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of patrons in the Yawning Portal in the home game that I DM that are not in the book.
All right. Nice. No, for me, I think I have a character that I really that I'd like to play at some point, but haven't had a campaign yet. And that would be playing a paladin that's basically Chidi and Agonia from The Good Place.
Oh, yeah?
It would be the most annoying, PC ever.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah. It's like with the anxiety and everything?
Yeah. With the anxiety and the indecision. They're like, but... Of
course I'm in the bad place. I had too much almond milk.
Yeah.
I know how bad that stuff is for the environment. I love that they always went back to that. Every time he thought that was the reason he was there. Man.
Major Higgins has a question. Will Modron Ranch be on Switch? Unfortunately, due to some...
Not this year, yeah.
Delays with COVID, not this year, but we, when we can get it in the build, we will be providing all Switch players with all 3 champions. So Jaheira, Quillic, Evelyn, and 3 gold and 3 silver chests for each of them.
Yeah, and but unfortunately, the event isn't going to arrive this year.
Yeah.
Look at all them birdies.
Phoenix Ultimatum is saying maybe I'm missing it in her ability description, but how does Jaheira gain build stacks of Lingering Anger?
Is it not in the description? Sorry, I'm just reading the... Bum, 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 bum.
Well, you can go to Jaheira if you'd like. Yeah, it doesn't say under lingering anchor.
Oh,
She has.
okay. I'm gonna have to pass that along because it sounds like our tooltips might be missing something.
Okay.
Thanks for the heads up.
What's up? It's only in the champion spotlight. So if you want to take that away, because I know you wrote that one. So. Yeah. Valbreath is asking, for new player, is there something I should focus on, the event possibly, and if so, which mission? I would recommend unlocking all 3 champions and then doing the variants sort of in order. Generally the first listed variant is easier than the others, or at least has a lower area requirement. But there is just a lot of content for a new player in their first event. So I would say your goal is to unlock your first 3 champions, and then going from there. And Wagniska is asking, they've failed to see who won the last 2 drawings. So you assume that you weren't one. We will message you if you win the raffle.
Yeah, anybody who wins one of the raffles gets a private message, so that we can get info and then connect you with whatever the prizes are.
And Vigilante is saying each variant completed gave 1 gold chest. How do you get the silver ones? If you run free plays until 50, you will get a random chest for that champion, be it either silver or gold. So that's how you would get the silver chests. And you can, it's a 1 in 4 chance with a pity timer. So if you hit your 4th free play in that variant and you still only received silver chests, then you'll get another gold one. And Valrus is saying that there's so much content, it's overwhelming but fun. I feel you. I feel like every event that I come around to, because this is my first full year playing, there's a lot of content to catch up on that our veterans have completed already, but thankfully it's a lot of good content to catch up on. Dylan, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was reading questions. Sorry. I didn't get the impression that you were trying to get my opinion. Are either of you aware of a bug where a code gives you a gold chest card that doesn't actually give you a gold chest on use? I can think of a couple different contexts where that kind of thing might pop up. So if you think that this is happening to you, like you're inputting it and it says that you get loot, and it doesn't give you that you've already redeemed this or this isn't valid.
Yeah.
But instead, like, you go to the loot screen and it pops up giving it to you, but the loot doesn't show up. Try restarting first, like restarting your game, and if it's not in your inventory when you restart, you can open an in-game support ticket and we can take a look.
For sure.
We should be able to see whether or not you should have gotten one for what you did or not.
And Death01 is asking, how do we get more silvers for those of us who have completionist? I was going to just call it completionist tendencies, but you can call it
well, they put obsessive compulsive collection disorder. So, anyways, time gates. Like, obviously doing free plays over and over, like you'll get some gold chests, you'll get some silver chests. But time gates, yeah, because the first time when you play a time gate and you do the free play, the first time that you've opened it, like for each 100 areas you've progressed, you get a silver chest. So these days, players can push past 600, so you can get a decent number of silver event chests that way as well.
And FOP is asking, is there a pity timer on golden loot for epic loot? So the purple in normal gold chests that gear up our evergreen characters, it's 1 in 10 with a pity timer, which means if you don't get it for 9, the 10th one you will receive it. And on event champions, it's 1 in 4 for gold chests.
I want to say the chances are 12% per chest for an epic piece of equipment. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Anyways.
Bruman 8or is asking, what do I do if I sign up for the newsletter but I haven't received it? They received Hitched when they signed up about 3 weeks ago.
They're not receiving the actual emails?
No. It's not in your spam?
Yeah. Depending on what you use for email. It could be a spam issue. We can confirm that the newsletters went out.
Yeah.
It's also one of those things that if you don't want to flood Sean, but if you open an in-game support ticket, you don't think that you're for some reason not getting those newsletters, you can double check with Sean or whomever opens the ticket. They can look into your account and see, because we could see whether or not you've connected your email address to the game for you. There's also the chance that like you might have accidentally unsubscribed from it, or the platform that you're on saw it as spam and unsubbed it or something. Like there's a lot of stuff related to that can happen as well. I mean, I accidentally unsubbed, I think, from our general email at one point because I was like, why am I not getting these? And then Eric was like, oh, you're not on this list. I'm like, how am I not on that list? And it seems likely that it was me who messed that up, not paying attention. So
yeah. Right. Our general email can be a little bit fun because it goes to everyone in the office.
Well, it gets a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the one that gets picked up by things that scour the web for email addresses to send things to. So and sometimes it gets a lot of stuff. Do we ever clear the newsletter lists? No.
No.
It just grows forever.
It would be mean if we took like Mars and Garwar off the newsletter list just for fun.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
they
you guys have played
way back.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. And Victor Draco is asking, how do you get the new champion? By doing the event. If you don't,
you got to clear area 50 in the unlock adventure for the event. Yeah.
And you can switch between campaigns and events here. Well, event. It looks really funny on dev when they'll have like 4 events running to test.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. I was testing a bunch of stuff from dev the other day, actually.
And find anything weird?
Well, I was capturing footage for something I can't talk about.
No, I think we can't talk about them yet.
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess they are announced.
They are announced.
We are at some point releasing skins based off the art that Max Dunbar did earlier this year.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah, and so I was getting some in-game footage of them.
They look really cool.
Of how they turned out.
They look really cool.
They look absolutely awesome.
Yeah. I really love Nereus and Cardles and Shanties.
Yeah. They all look super good.
Yeah.
Did you notice that in the Minsk one, like, because Minsk has that helmet, that Boo has a little helmet too?
It's adorable.
It's super great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, they're still coming soon, but
yeah, they're
looking good.
They look really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they've been data mined out, but
No, Delana. Delana's
Then-
skin honestly looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
They all look good, Delana included. Actually, if you want to clear the adventure that Margaret's on because you're not Zorbu farming, Delana is an amazing DPS to use for that because she can easily clear an entire screen of enemies into attacks. Like twin the lightning, boom, almost everything is gone, and then a blizzard on the last group of them, and that's it. Like, absolutely amazing at keeping up with widespread damage.
I feel like she needs a PR campaign. Yeah. No. Do you have full shiny on your champions?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got one for Celeste today. I was pretty pleased.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good place to get them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I have like most things for the game, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being one of the like alpha testers, that would make sense.
Well, that and like, I mean, I don't buy stuff for the game. I give myself stuff for the game. Yeah. I have yet to receive my newsletter today. We haven't sent out a newsletter today.
We send them out on Fridays.
Yeah. Yeah. Around noonish, sometime between noon and like 1:30 is when they launch, depending on.
Don't give times, because when I do them later than you, and then they're like, "Oh no, they're not coming today."
Well, then they could just blame Margaret when they take forever to show up. I try to launch them at noon.
Yeah,
that's the goal, but it's not always possible.
I didn't know that when you left. I'm like, try to launch them. Well, they will be done before I leave today.
Yeah. I think the latest I launched one was at like probably 10 or 11 p.m.
Okay.
Like I drove back to work and launched one because we were waiting on something. For some reason, I couldn't launch it earlier, and I'd gone home.
Okay. How long is a newsletter process to finish?
I'm pretty fast at it these days. So it usually just takes like a couple hours, depending on how many graphics and things need to be made for it. But that depends. Yeah.
Mansoni was asking, do you balance champions around events at all, or just main campaigns? I guess.
Champions are balanced against other champions, essentially. And what I mean by that is, for starters, there's a little bit of power creep because you can't have a champion come out at square one today and have them be exactly as powerful as your square one champions were 3 years ago, because those 3-year-old champions have been steadily getting better ever since. So there's a bit of power creep to it. So the newer a champion is, the more categorically powerful they tend to be, just at a base level. And then, they get balanced for their slot to be ideally competitive with the other choices in that slot, if not against the rest of the champions. But it's kind of they're not balanced around events or even the campaigns necessarily. They're kind of balanced at the relative power level of other champions. Like that's the metric we use is other champions,
not the campaigns.
Yeah, there's a player who keeps asking if they can become a beta tester. So we're not actively testing anything right now, but we, depending
we're not
on,
actively testing new features right now.
Let me rephrase depending that. On how we choose to do that in the future, like we might have a different process for it or something. So any answers around that will be a little premature right now.
And Dress Junius is asking, do you have plans to do ultimate combinations, example ultimates that have different effects during when a different ult is going off? And I don't see us doing that.
Oh man, no, like the double attacks in Chrono Trigger. I mean, that would be cool, but like if you don't build with that from the get-go, there's a lot of potential combinations, right? Like, how many ultimates do we have now?
Many.
60-something? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
62.
Yeah, 62. Okay.
Yeah.
We have 62 champions. That would make sense.
Krell is too
Yeah.
powerful. I run him with
Okay.
just 2 pieces of gear, white, pushes my wall over other champions. Yeah, Krell
Yeah.
is real good. So
Krell is.
when most characters were updated to no longer double dip, at that time Krell was triple dipping, so now he just double dips. So he's still,
Yeah.
you know, amazing. Yeah.
Good.
Chrono Trigger, best game ever.
Agreed.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it was an absolutely fantastic game and definitely one of the top games that ever came out for Super Nintendo. Yeah. What a great game that was.
Yeah.
Chrono Cross was kind of cool too, but that was on PSX. TIE Fighter is the best game ever, sorry. Whoa. Hey now.
Them's fighting words to Dylan.
Yeah, that's apples and TIE Fighters. That's totally different.
When you say double dip, what does that mean? Asking
So-
PR13.
Yeah, the debuffing potential counts more than once. So if it's double dipping, it means that the debuff is on the enemy and they take damage increased by that amount. And the ultimate is not only taking that damage into account, but it's taking it into account twice. Effectively double dipping. So it's, you're getting more benefit out of something than you're supposed to. And when that was happening, Krull was even worse because Krull inflicts characters with plagues that both increase the damage they take and explode that damage onto other guys. And then if those guys also have plagues, it just kind of causes a lot of unintended exponential damage increases that are kind of horrendous.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, Krell is doing it to again, basically. I'm sure somebody can explain it more succinctly than I just failed to, but yeah. Basically, the power of the debuff gets counted. It's supposed to get counted once. Was getting counted twice, but because of the way Krull works, he was getting counted 3 times.
Yeah.
Now he only gets counted twice. And Stokey apparently also gets counted twice.
But Ayla now...
Today.
Ayla's now just counts once.
Yeah.
Which makes her slot more viable for the other champions in it.
Yeah, but she's still super good.
Yep. Yeah.
What is Krull's best specialization choice? That's a good question. I can't remember if it's Pain or Traitor at this point.
I typically go for Pain.
Is it Pain? Pain's the damage that they take, right?
So, struggling to remember now. It's just like I feel sometimes when I get specific questions, I'm like, and my mind is blank on that. But,
yeah. Traitor is buffing the ability that deals damage, like splash damage out. And Pain is buffs the damage that they take.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Pilfer's also a decent choice if you're running for gold. So.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, I don't think of that because I used Krull to farm stupid favor, and I just don't think about my gold anymore.
Well then, not all of us are you, Dylan.
Well, at some point, because we released soft cap increases, right? So eventually, the farming I did, because I did not exploit it to its maximum potential, that's for sure. But eventually, it'll be meaningless in that it'll just catch up. So, save myself some work in the short term, but not in the long term, really. Not so much.
Are you looking for the Baldur's Gate 3?
Me?
Yep.
Yes, because I'm excited to see what Larian does with it. When they shared the opening cinematic for it as part of their big reveal, it was cool to see some very distinctly Dungeons and Dragons stuff in a cinematic of that kind of quality because you just haven't before, like the Mind Flayer piloting the Nautiloid, tearing between planes, plane shifting while Githyanki riding red dragons are in pursuit, and just the entire thing was awesome. But it was very D&D. So that was cool. I really enjoyed watching that. I didn't watch very much of the gameplay because I don't want to spoil any of it for myself if I do feel like playing it.
That's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm very familiar with how BioWare does their voice acting talent and how they do their RPGs and how they do their games and how you play through them, and like, you know, they have a lot of things that are like, I guess I don't want to say habits, but like game design that is characteristically of BioWare that they have stuck with for decades. That a lot of it started with Baldur's Gate, and so at the same time, like Divinity and the way that Larian has worked on their games is actually quite different from that. And so I'm curious about how the structure of the game is going to be different. Yeah, because like I just don't know what the feel is going to be like. And then like I had a baby 3 months and 2 weeks ago. How much time am I going to have? Because like,
yeah,
I get a decent amount of time to play video games even still, but it is not in long stretches anymore.
Yeah,
that does not exist. And playing RPGs not in long stretches is really hard, I find, because it, you know, like if you don't sit down with the games frequently enough, you kind of sit down and you're like, I don't remember what the hell I was doing. You know, like where am I in this like 400-hour game or whatever? You know, like it's like hard to jump in and out of easily. So I don't know. I hope it's good.
Yeah. I don't know. I have problems sitting still for a long time. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you like literally run off that energy. I can't. I get restless and I can't do that because my back can't let me do it. So I read books. I'm almost done book 5 of the Witcher.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. And then strangely enough, I actually ended up ordering the other more anthology ones that have short stories in them.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna read them after.
Oh,
but really, really enjoying what Andrzej Sapkowski. I don't know how to say his name properly. I don't speak Polish. Sorry, but they're good. They're good books. Yeah, I wasn't sold at I read the first one. I'm like, that was okay. But by the time I'm in the 5th one, I'm like, okay, this is actually really masterful. I can see why these are so popular.
Nice.
It's fantastic. And then my other read right now is this one.
Ooh, I've seen that recommended. So
yeah, Monstrous. Yeah, it's by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda, and it's won a bazillion Eisners and Hugos and Harveys and so on and so forth. But it's this hardcover is the first 18 issues of the comic series, and it's about an alternate history, a matriarchal 1900s steampunk Magitech Asia.
Fantastic.
And it's awesome. It is super awesome. All the art is like, it's like sketches that have been painted over with watercolors.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's got a really, really beautiful art style. I am loving this thing.
I just finished The Blinding White, which was the 5th book in Brent Week's Lightbringer series.
Lightbringer, that sounds familiar.
Starts with like the
my
black.
DM reads those.
The Black Prism is the first one. It was good. It's also finished, which makes me happy.
Okay, it's a finishable series.
Yes, it's finished. I'm always happy. It's like I can recommend this series, and it's.
I
finished.
remember getting sucked into Robert Jordan when I was a lot younger, and
also finished now.
That there's a lot left to do, and
it's also
I know
finished.
It's done now. Yeah, but he didn't finish it.
No.
But I remember like being like, my God, this just keeps going.
Yeah.
Because it's just so wordy.
Brendan Sanderson did a great job of finishing those, and yeah.
And then everybody in the office just won't stop talking about Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
God, do I have to read one of these?
Garwar said in chat that he finally picked up the Way of Kings, which thankfully with his publisher Sanderson was able to make free during the isolation period.
Oh,
which was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't laugh, but this is in some ways very stereotypically me. We've reached the point of quarantine where I've picked up Albert Camus' The Plague to read.
Okay.
Why? Well, now's the time if you're going to ever read about people like stuck in, a plague situation. For some existentialist dread.
Like, I can also read the news, talk to my friends who are people stuck in a plague
situation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dresden Files. That's something else I've been needing to pick up at some point.
Those are good.
I've heard it's super good.
Would recommend.
Yeah.
Would recommend. Would recommend the Stormlight Archives, which is the series of the first one for the Way of Kings is the first one of. What else?
I don't know. I don't read enough fantasy to be an expert on it. I mostly read sci-fi.
It's all good.
And then it's like
the Malazan Book of the Fallen.
Like, have you read Dune? And if it's a yes and they've read them, cool. And if not, I'm like, okay, I recommend that. And if they have, and the other thing I'll recommend will be Neuromancer.
No.
Just because you gotta open your mind a little bit to some what used to be pretty trippy stuff, and isn't really anymore. No. But
have you read Hyperion?
Hyperion, no. Who's that by?
Dan Simmons.
Okay, yeah, no.
No, okay. If you like Dune, you'll probably also really like Hyperion, and yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, and yeah, it's great. Would recommend. Oh, okay. Garwar is asking, did the math changes go through for being able to clear past area 1000 without causing problems? And I believe it is, the problem area is now area 1100.
Yeah, as I understand it, it's 1100, but it is something that we noticed is going to have to change at some point, especially as we release more
strong champions.
Soft cap increases and stuff like that.
Soft cap.
Alrighty, Hyperion. 1989. The first book of the Hyperion. I don't know.
But you can read it as a standalone. You don't have to keep reading.
Okay, like Dune. You can read one amazing book and not read ones that get successfully not as good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Huh. All right.
It's it's a bit like
the way
Dune like that.
William Gibson writes his books, though. I've read a bunch of them now. Like there's the Sprawl trilogy with Neuromancer and Count Zero and Mona Lisa Overdrive, of which the second book is the most accessible one for some reason. But I like that in all of his books, his language always incorporates all the slang and everything that's part of whatever the book is about, and so you're usually lost for 10, 20, 50 pages, however long it takes for you to understand the meaning of all the stuff that he's added to it, and then you can really dive into it. And then if you're lucky, he'll make another book in that contained universe that he's created. Good stuff.
Mage Pie is asking if we have any game recommendations while idling champions in the background.
That's a good question. So
it's been a lot of Animal Crossing in the office.
Yeah, people are very, very into Animal Crossing right now. Depending on, I don't know. So I picked up Doom Eternal because I love Doom games, and the most recent Doom iteration they did in 2016 and this one are both awesome. But I also find them exhausting to play because it's like a relentless survival experience for as long as you're willing to put up with it.
Right.
And then after however much time, you're just like, oh man, I'm tired of just nonstop adrenaline. It's a lot to take in.
I started Hades recently by Supergiant, which has been great fun. They did Bastion before. Really enjoyed that.
Bastion was great.
But I've really been enjoying Hades as well, which is their latest.
Somebody's talking about Final Fantasy Tactics. Which Final Fantasy Tactics? The original one on PSX or the one on Game Boy Advance, or which one? XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is good. The Chimera Squad is the new one that they released a couple weeks ago, and I like it, but it both feels and doesn't feel like XCOM at the same time. It feels like it was a really good idea for an XCOM expansion that was a bit too much for an expansion, so they decided to make a game around it. but it's not quite enough for a full game at the same time, which is probably why the price for it is quite a bit lower, because it's like $20 or something. So I like it, and if you're feeling a need to scratch that XCOM itch, Chimera Squad is good for that. But it feels really different. It's interesting. I am, however, going to replay The Witcher.
Witcher?
Yeah, The Witcher 3. Because now that I'm finishing the books, I'm like, okay, I have a different investment in the story than I did back when I played this game.
Or it's like how when The Witcher on Netflix came out, and then just the spike on Steam of people.
The Witcher on Netflix is like parts of this book.
Yep.
Which is and it's a collection of short stories that take place before The Blood of Elves, which is book 1. So should be interesting. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you've read. No, you haven't read any of these, have you?
No.
Well, between these and the Witcher video games, Geralt is like super chatty, whereas Henry Cavill's just like. Now, granted, he is able to on-screen communicate a lot through his grunting, but it's just kind of funny because he never shuts up in the books. Like he talks so much.
Versus okay.
Yeah, I just thought that was really funny. They just like minimalize this dialogue, but at the same time, he does a great job of playing the character. So you're like, oh, okay. Well, if you can get away with just grunting and saying the same thing, then good on you. I guess that's I don't know. What do they call talent? Acting.
Good job. Yeah. Chris Lowe at Twitch is saying, toss a coin to Witcher and pray that this is not the karaoke.
Oh man, I can only imagine how many nerds sing that song at karaoke now.
I can guess it's probably too much.
The guy whoever the casting for the show honestly feels even stranger having read the books, a bunch of the books now. It feels stranger in some ways. Jaskier or Dandelion or whatever you want to call the bard is pretty perfect, and Geralt is pretty perfect. And I'm a really big fan of Yennefer, that actress Anya something. She's fantastic. The actress who plays Ciri's got a lot to go through. My God, like the entire series is like her crucible, more or less. So we'll see. Somebody talking about Henry. Yeah, the dehydration needed to have shirtless scenes. Yeah, because you haven't had any water to drink in like 36 hours in order to film the
Then he had to sit
stuff
in water to film it.
Yeah, so he's
like that's exceptionally cruel. It's like
it just makes you really pissy. I'm like that. I'm like fair enough. Yeah,
seems something like Geneva Convention right there.
Yeah. Anyways, having read the books. And going back to the show and looking at the casting of all the characters, and because now that I have an idea of what their arcs are, I'm like even more weirded out by some of the casting choices because it's not who I had pictured in my head. But I'm not so attached to it that it bothers me. The only one that I find really weird is the lady that played Triss in the show, because they just reference her red hair so much in the books and so frequently, and she's they hired a woman of color who does not have red hair for the show. But that said, like they've done their screen tests and they've worked with these actors and all that stuff. I'll reserve judgment until that actress actually gets to do something with the character, because not so much yet, but more to do later. Yeah. It's just and like the games, obviously the game's design of the characters, the ones that CD Projekt Red did, are iconic now because the game's got so big, like so iconic that their versions of the characters are the ones that are on all these books, right?
Yeah. Well, that kind of happens with like
whatever the most popular version of something is, right?
Or the latest version that gets out through a marketing campaign.
Yeah, but the characters designed in the game are also very, very designed off the descriptions in the books. So Triss has like flaming red hair in the game, so it makes it even harder and a little bit even more unfair for an actress to try and break through it. And I remember when they cast Yennefer, because they hired an actress she's like British Indian, that people were like, oh, I don't know, and then they saw the episodes, they're like, she's the best actor on the show. So hoping that the same thing happens with Triss as well.
Sorfist is asking us why there are so many birds. This particular variant spawns additional ravens, and every time one is killed, two are spawned again, I believe. So it's a very bird-heavy variant, and therefore great for zebra farming if you are so inclined.
I think it's Sasha put the note.
Yeah.
Yennefer's actress is Anya Shalatra. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Anyway, she was phenomenal. Yeah. She had the hardest arc to do out of any of those actors and nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I'm looking forward to the next season. I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to happen.
We're not going to get it anytime soon.
No, but it's going to happen.
Well, not only is it going to happen, The Witcher very quickly became not just one of the most popular Netflix shows, but the most popular show they've ever had, including like Stranger Things and other stuff. Yeah. So, they're going to renew it for more seasons beyond the second season while they're finishing the second season. There's no way that they don't just like, all right, you know what? Here's 4 seasons worth, or they're definitely going to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. And
which is good. I'm just like yes.
Game of Thrones left a big void.
I'm just waiting for all the time. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of novels, The Expanse.
That's fair.
One of the best science fiction series I've ever read. Easy. It's super, super, super good. If you like science, because there's a lot of science actually in the books.
Right. Is it actual science or is it weird science?
It is a very, very good mix of hard sci-fi and then, the more hand-wavy stuff where they have things that they can't explain with technology that exists.
Yeah.
But it's very grounded.
Okay.
Yeah, they put some serious work into their universe building for that series and how they thought about it, and I cannot recommend it enough. Yeah. There's like 9 of them. But there's only going to be one more, or 8 of them, and there's going to be one more. Yeah. And my first 6 books are out among 3 different groups of people, of course, because that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Well, once you find something you love so much, you just want to share it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Terrence saying The Expanse was good. They're hoping for more, but doubt they'll see it. No, they renewed the crap out of that show. Because I guess Jeff Bezos is a fan, so he can make any show exist if he wants. But that's the other thing about it is that the TV show adaptation is amazing of it. So, absolutely amazing. Perfect casting. Awesome. Especially Amos, especially Wes Chatham is unbelievably perfect as that severely messed up dude. Yeah. In the Witcher books, any favorite character other than the core cast? That's a tough question. You don't get a lot of time with characters outside the core group because everything is told from the perspective of core characters for the most part. Although some of the side characters get mini arcs, and then the whole point is that they show up in the main story at some point. So I'm reading the last book and I'm really, really enjoying the sorceress Nimue in it. Just because of how they fit into the story. It was really, really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Death-01, I think we all wish Jeff Bezos would fund Firefly.
And I really like Bonhart, despite how awful he is. Because he's a villain that's easy to just hate.
I know.
Anyways.
Should I wrap it up?
I mean, it's your show.
Well, it's not.
We're getting
my
close
show.
To the hour. Yeah, it's your show.
You're not. No, I've usurped
you. You're
you.
at the helm. You're at the helm of the ship. The wheel is in your hands.
Trial by fire, right into the deep end. But not so much anymore.
You know how to swim. You're fine.
Okay. So I will wrap us up for the day. So that's our show for May 14th, 2020. Thank you for joining us today and participating in the Idle Champions and Dungeons and Dragons communities. You're all awesome. The show exists because of a number of amazing people behind the scenes, including our co-producers, Erica and Sasha, as well as our partners at Dungeons and Dragons, Greg, Bart, Pelham, Allison, Shaling, and Lisa. Take care, champions, and then see you tomorrow for Griddle Champions and Garwar's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions. So, goodbye, all.
Rock on, everybody. Have a good day.